Hi, everybody. This is day 1,398 days since Richard was murdered on Fort Bliss, and we still don't have his body. And and this is a horrible situation to be in, I tell you. Let's see if everything is working right. So I don't see it. There it goes. Let me reload it. It seems like there's a problem. There it goes. Okay. Now it's working. And I hope everyone can hear me. And I'll start over 1,398 days since Richard was murdered on Fort Bliss. On Fort Bliss. Those aren't my words. That's what's on the paperwork. That's on the paperwork. Because you see, and we don't have his body, okay? But I think that everyone needs to know that the notice of death is a huge, huge deal because it just launched us into institutional support. Whereas before, we were having to work very, very hard to get that institutional support because of the cover up, right? The cover up. Not wanting to, get their feet wet in the water of really a true investigation. Because, of course, Richard is the first Vanessa Guillen absent soldier, and they know it's a murder, right? It's a capital murder on a military installation like Vanessa Guillen. And I even think that the psychic that was saying that it was in the arms room and all of that, I think that she was more right that, of course, Marlon Soto, who is a criminal. He's absolutely a criminal. And of course, protecting his co-worker, his brother at the CID, his, you know, co-worker brother. That's what I mean by that. Tavita Nusa, who, was absolutely involved in the murder of Richard, according to, our whistleblowers. So, of course, he's a prime suspect. Also, Dallas Hart's a prime suspect. Also, Leilani Hart's a prime suspect. And, there was definitely this cover up. And now we have this institutional support. And we'll see what happens because we're still providing leads. They've still asked us to be investigators. They've still asked us to provide them leads. And then if they get leads, then they will look into it. So we're still doing that. And we know this case very, very well. And so to have this institutional support now, with all that we know, we have our work cut out for us, but it is, you know, uh, towards justice, right? Towards accountability, towards justice. And, the whole thing has changed. And you can tell that the whole atmosphere has changed. The spirit of this whole investigation has changed. And, there's so many positive things because we're in mega talks. We're in talks with attorneys, right? We're in talks with attorneys and daily. And because of that, we are learning how the whole system works. And then, of course, we're in, because of the SB4 case, the SB4 federal case, it's very huge. And what's going on with Bill Hicks being a usurper of the 34th Judicial District Attorney's office. He's illegal. He's illegal in it, and we have the evidence for it. We've submitted it to the SB4 federal case, which when you do that, you have to be in communication with all of these attorneys. And so, of course, we're also in communication with just about every dean in the United States of the law school deans in the United States. So the institutional support is, it's just escalated with this notice of death. And things are happening. Things are happening. I would say to keep your eyes on El Paso. I would say keep your eyes on Fort Bliss. I would say keep your eyes on the 34th Judicial District Attorney's Office, because, our support is for Yvonne Rosales, because of the evidence that we have, because of being in talks with, communication with all of these attorneys, these, look, the best of the best, the best of the best. She has a legal right to the 34th Judicial District Attorney's seat. She is the rightful district attorney for El Paso. A big, shepherd's hook needs to come out and grab Bill Hicks out of there. I think he should be arrested for the fraud that he's perpetrated on the courts, the fraud that he has perpetrated on the people of El Paso, the fraud that he has perpetrated in Richard Halliday's case. Of course, it's a little personal with us, it's a little personal. We are putting our support behind Yvonne Rosales. I hope that she is mentally strong, because the one thing that we have learned through these years is that the number one weapon of the criminals is psychological. They try to beat you down psychologically, and they try to dehumanize you, dehumanize your loved ones. They try to make you feel helpless and weak. And, we just said, Satan, get behind us, get behind us, because, we have become the sons of God, right? That's what our faith tells us, that he gives us the power to be the sons of God. And, that's pretty powerful. So we don't need to be listening to people beating us down, telling us that we'll never get justice, telling us we'll never find out what happened to Richard, telling us that, the institutional support will never come. When finally on the 24th of April, 2024, we receive the ultimate in institutional support, which is the declaration of death, the notice of death. And then, of course, all of it follows after that. All of it follows. So, we absolutely feel that we're going to get justice. And if you don't let the PSYOP beat you down and stop you from pursuing justice, establishing justice, right? Then I think in my belief, in our belief, Team 5 Richard Halliday, we're going to get justice. Why? Because the very thing. Let's use Yvonne Rosales's case as we know it from the open records. Okay, as we know it from the open records, the criminals weaponized the system, weaponized the law, the justice system, the criminal. They weaponized what they had been taught, right, in law school. They should all lose their law licenses, because they were taught this to use it for good, right? To defend the Constitution, to defend the rule of law, to restrain crime. And yet, they themselves became criminals. Bill Hicks became a criminal. Bob Moore became a criminal. Justin Underwood became a criminal. And, and they collaborated together to hurt Yvonne Rosales and her office. Okay, and her office, which is the people of the people of the 34th Judicial District. So this was an attack on the 34th Judicial District, not just on Yvonne Rosales. Okay, and so they did more crime, right, by doing what they're doing to put that whole office in chaos, and to unseat her using the skills that they had been taught in law school to weaponize the system against her, the law against her. That's what they did. They twisted and turned the law against her. Well, you have to have confidence in the law. Right? You have to have confidence in the law, and they can weaponize that law, but it is the law that is declaring that she is the rightful district attorney for the 34th Judicial District. So, the law is coming to her rescue. And so if you don't let the PSYOP get you, and the absolute despicable behavior, criminal despicable behavior of, the likes of Bob Moore and Bill Hicks and Justin Underwood and, some others. If you don't let them get to you and you stand firm on what you know is right, the law will come to your rescue. And so, I just think that, Yvonne Rosales, we support you. If we were getting harassed, if we were getting, I don't want to say it was more than harassment. Of course we were getting harassed. Of course we were getting threatened. Of course, vile and vulgar messages. But there were also those that pretended to be our friends, and they were not our friends. Pretended to be on our side, and they were not on our side. And they would use a PSYOP. And it was very, very clear that that's what they were doing. And you just have to, get some cotton and plug your ears when they're around and go forward. Go forward. I think if I was Yvonne Rosales, with all the education that she has, with the victory, she was voted in, okay? This is something that is so glorious to have, 220,000 something people laying their hands on you saying, we want you to be the 34th district attorney, right? The 34th Judicial District Attorney. This is my goodness, that is more powerful than any PSYOP that wants to put you down, right? Because you have over 220,000 people that laid their hands, in the vote, right? The vote. Being a Christian, to me, I compare that to the laying on of hands, meaning, yes, we want her to be our district attorney, right? I mean, that in itself should motivate her so quickly to put on her heels, right? Put on that full armor of God, strap real tight, and, charge on over there and assert your rights to that position for the sake of that district, for the sake of the people of El Paso. Now, that's just my opinion on this. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just, you know, knowing the open records, knowing the situation. I would say, Miss Rosales, go and take your rightful position. We support you. 220,000 plus people support you. And give us justice. Be the attorney. Be the prosecutor that you are meant to be, right? And be a good one. Be a good one. Bring justice to Richard's case. This is, of course, this is personal to us. And so we absolutely support her. And, it kind of made us understand the absolute dereliction in duty and despicable behavior of Bill Hicks in Richard's case, because he was a usurper. He's a trespasser. Get the hell out. Get out. And I think every El Pasoan should call up Bill Hicks and say, get the hell out. You trespasser, you usurper. You weren't voted in. You can't even do your appointment right. Get out. Our duly elected DA is Yvonne Rosales. And so, and the law is on her side. And the law is against Bill Hicks. And I think that's a beautiful thing. A really beautiful thing. So, that's been a big deal. The other big deal, it's been a totally filled day again. Filled. And it's breaking news. And it's breaking news because, number one, with this whole thing with Yvonne Rosales, but number two, to understand that Richard's case is not one big case, okay? Richard's case is many cases, okay? And I've said, Richard's case is connected to the Walmart case. Absolutely. If the Walmart case goes to trial and is tried, that's a victory for Richard's case. The Richard's case will be solved. Okay? I'm absolutely convinced of that. But Richard's case is also has many different violations in there that divides it into many different cases. So, we're working on many cases right now while we're working on Richard's, and that's why we have to burn the midnight oil. Look at it. It's midnight here in South Carolina. That's why we have to burn the midnight oil, and you'll see maybe not as many posts, so because it is so busy behind the scenes. So what we're asking is that you go through our posts and share them for us. That would really, really help us a lot because, this is many different cases. For example, just the warrant that we don't have, that supposedly it doesn't exist. Otherwise, they would have given it to us already. So that means they violated our civil rights when they searched our house without a warrant. And so we're working on that one. That's just an example. And of course, many different little elements in Richard's case. And if we just keep going and doing the right thing, I think Richard's body will be given to us. And but we want accountability for those that did this to Richard. And so that's all kind of because of all of the institutional support, we're working overtime because we have to deal with all of these agencies. Remember, 15 plus agencies, and don't forget ATF is in the news, and ATF was part of the 15 plus agencies. ATF doesn't just show up, and this is how you absolutely know that Richard was reporting on gun trafficking, because ATF was there. We met with ATF, they were there, and I think that is huge. They wouldn't just show up if Richard was just a missing soldier. And, that's, so going through everything that has happened and preparing for discovery, right? Because as we, because this could end up in the wrongful death suit, right? This is absolute. So you have to prepare, because once you get into a court, things go so fast, and they might come at you different directions. So you need to have everything organized and together and know exactly what your objective is. And so, if you can share everything in Richard's case, and all the cases in Richard's case, the multiple case. This is the multiple case, right? All of those different facets, you can absolutely share. It's all very, very important. And it's very important to share it. You maybe get a pseudonym or whatever if you're afraid, but I wouldn't be afraid. Our institutional support, I don't think, life is chance all the time, but the institutional support right now is huge. It's huge. They gave us a notice of death, right? So so they have a lot of procedures and protocols that they have to follow because of that. And I could list them all off. I've been trying, Rob and we've been trying to figure out all of them, to take advantage of all of them, so that we can exert the power that God has given us to get the accountability, to get the answers, to get Richard's body, but also to make sure that all of, even news like Bob Moore of El Paso Matters with FitFam, the real FitFam El Paso, KTSM, that were hijacking Richard's death to discredit our family, to do another kick in the gut, right? To smear Richard's name, his legacy, to harm our family reputation, those things, can you imagine? Yeah, that all needs to be addressed, all of it. So that's why we would like for the story to get out there, because we really stand on what we've discovered, the truth that we've discovered. And part of that is, of course, the Melendez-Mendez connection. And the Melendez-Mendez connection it takes your breath away. It really does, because it involves Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia. It involves 3905 Bliss Avenue, 3705 Bliss Avenue. It involves Leilani Hart and shared residence. It involves the Walmart mass shooting. And of course, the K-9 cop, Melendez, targeted unjustly Richard, and then Carlos Mendez. Um, he targeted a whistleblower that, you know, the whistleblower is going to go down in history, um, because that corroborated the prime suspects in our son's case. And that was officially submitted, that whistleblower complaint, to many agencies. And, for a whistleblower, so you have Richard being a whistleblower being targeted, and then a whistleblower in our son's case being targeted, and then having that family being involved with 3705 Bliss Avenue, 3905 Bliss Avenue, and more, Van Buren, with Van Buren, and then also with Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia, with Leilani Hart, with, Belen Rocha, Danae Katzen, it's this group. It's this group. And for the Mendez, and when people understand, because you have to understand that David Johnson was killed on August 3rd, 2019, the Walmart shooting, right? I mean, we don't know exactly the manner and cause of death and the time. We don't. We can't be sure of it. We're told that he was shot in that Walmart, okay? But we don't have a court case. We don't have Mario Reskin Ortiz sitting there in the court, taking the stand, telling us the cause and manner of death for David Johnson. We don't have that. They're delaying it. And yet his connections are connected with the Mendez. Okay. And, so we want to know. And I think the people of El Paso want to know. And there's more connections with this, okay? There's more connections. But, for the Mendez to have this trifecta where, they're part of the Walmart case, where absolutely we know now that there's several evidences. You have hard evidence, circumstantial evidence, and irregularities. We have several that connect Richard's case with the Walmart case. And the Mendez connection is one of them. Absolutely. And to have Leilani Hart and Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia and Carlos Mendez all targeting a whistleblower in our son's case, and then a Melendez targeting Richard. That's not and Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia targeting Richard, and Leilani Hart targeting Richard. That, getting unauthorized access to mess with Richard's files, I think that is targeting Richard. So, and I did get a question about what do you mean they sanitized the record? Okay, because sanitize kind of sounds like a good thing, right? Especially with all this COVID mandate stuff, right? But sanitizing a file, from what we have heard through all of our contacts with all of these lawyers, is to, it's really a criminal act because they're omitting, they're scrubbing out, they're removing information out of the file that could absolutely be essential in solving the case. And they did that with Richard's file. It's no different. So that his whole file, they've tampered with it, which is criminal. So, and I can tell you that who was in charge? Marlon Soto. He was in charge. And don't forget that Marlon Soto not only um, did these criminal actions, but he failed to ask the internal affairs to investigate Tavita Nusa when all that happened. So, where's the oversight then? Right? Where's the oversight? So he messed up big. He messed up big, and it's criminal. It's absolutely criminal. So, I think that with all of the good news that we've gotten in the last couple of days and all the new information, um, you can't always call it good news because you're talking about the capital murder case of your son, um, and absolutely, Richard was brutally murdered, and so but the good news of getting justice, getting closer to accountability, that's what we're talking about when we say good news. And I think that the drums are beating. The drums are beating the drums of the law. The drums of the law are beating, and that needs to be absolutely shouted out everywhere. Because it's not just Richard's case. When you have a usurper district attorney in El Paso, that's not just about Richard's case, is it? When you have an illegal chief medical examiner that you can't depend on because they're going to botch every case because of the law. He's not following the law, so he's not credible, right? And the cause and manner of death then is not credible. So there needs to be two big hooks, one for Bill Hicks and one for Mario Raskin Ortiz. And we need to get proper, vetted, credible, qualified people in that position. And really, we have this election coming up, but really, if it all depends on Yvonne Rosales when it comes to the DA's office, because she absolutely can run over there and say, yes, I am the legal district attorney, get the hell out. I think she could. Could she do it like that quick? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. With 220,000 people that voted for her behind her, and people absolutely fed up and disgusted with the Walmart mass shooting, not even having one scheduling event in 5 years, and not even a mental health evaluation for Patrick Crucius. Wow. I think they're fed up. And yeah, and you see that if the Walmart case goes to trial and they discuss the cause and manner of death of David Johnson, and they discuss his reason for being there, his connections with those that were there, and all of that, it would break the case. I think so. I think it would. So, all right, everyone. Let's see if I have more. There is so much more, but I'm gonna be back tomorrow, God willing. And please share and please continue to pray. And thank you so much. Like and comment. All right, everyone. Till then, bye bye.